Welcome to this English news edition. Here are the top stories. The President of the Republic in Addis Ababa for the organization is Ordinary Summit Pan-Africa. A closing of inter-locality tournament in the Jura region. And on the regional scenes, internet in Rwanda, Starlink deploys satellite internet in Rwanda. Those were the top stories. Thanks for joining us in our newsroom. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margile, will participate alongside with the head of state and government African countries today in the work of annual summit of African Union held in the Ethiopian capital Addis Ababa, where the summit will discuss issues on scheduled business. His Excellency, the head of state, Ismail Margili, is participating along with the ministerial delegation. The level include the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mr. Mohamed Ali Yusuf, and Minister of Trade, Mr. Mohamed Warsamadiriye. And he's drawing also the ambassador of Djibouti in Addis Ababa, Mr. Abdi Mohamed. During the meeting, the head of state will discuss the issues of accelerating the establishment of a free trade zone, African continent, which will bring together 1.3 billion people. The African leaders are seeking to accelerate the process of establishing this free trade zone area, trade in order to promote intra-Africa trade and attract investors. The summit will also discuss other issues, other major issues, including the food crisis associated with the army conflict conditions, weathers, and the repercussion of a climate change affecting several regions in Africa. During the meeting, the head of state, His Excellency Ismail Margili, made a speech in which he highlighted the issues of accelerating of establishment of the free trade zone. Let us listen to the head of
also with warmth and kindness. It is with a deep feeling of satisfaction that I take part in this annual conference whose theme is crucial to the economic development of our continent. Mr. President, our summit today is an opportunity to move the discussions forward, and to address outstanding issues. This is all the more urgent as the recent exogenous crises have shown us the need for the resilience economic. This is all the more necessary also because Africa has the potential for its ambition of transformations and economic emancipation. As you know, the efforts made over the past decades by our respective countries in the past decades to develop the industrial fabric of our economies have come up against multiple factors that have handicapped the industrial development of our continent. The advent of the FTAA, we are convinced, is the solutions to this handicap and with all of us to address these issues in a new light. However, its full implementation, remains challenges, and these obstacles will never be overcome without a strong political will on our part and without our determination and unity. Two key aspects will have to be taken into consideration for an efficient implementation of the FTAA, stimulating the productive capacity of African enterprises through African values chain through the catalytic role of the FTAA, promote the development of a special economic zone compatible with the FTAA. Economic zone are moreover a strategic instrument for fight against unemployment, endemic unemployment of our population, especially the youth. To date, 2,000 are operational and 73 projects 73 projects have been announced for be implemented in 47 African countries. African countries, Mr. President, the Republic of Djibouti is more than ever committed to a more economic integration at the regional and continental levels. Indeed, the international trade remains fundamental for Djibouti because of its geostrategic position located on the second most used maritime lines, most used an ideal crossroad for trade in goods and services with Europe, Asia, and Africa. The Strategic Vision 2035 and the National Development Plan 2020-2024 have reaffirmed in their strategic axis the objective of positioning Djibouti as a hub for the regional and continental offering a multi-services platforms for finance, e-commerce, and new information technology, information and communication. Djibouti has also a national strategy on the strategic of the FTAA with the support of the ECA and a regional strategy for IGAD country strategy for IGAD countries, which is currently being validated, and we should take into account all areas of the FTAA implementation is finally in the context of the trade in services. The five priority sectors for the FTAA were submitted by my country and tariffs issue are being prepared at the preparations at the national level. In conclusion, Mr. Chairman, we are the catalysts and beneficiaries of this body. We owe it to ourselves and to future generations to resolve the paradox and a poor Africa with abundant resources and to create an integrated market that
of Isra al Mi'raj upon the honor, the best prayer, and the Paris delivery, which is one of important Islamic memories. During this occasion, the light is shed on this incident, which remains one of the most important. It should be also known that the incident of Isra al Mi'raj took place on the 27th of Rajab, of the most famous saying a year before his immigrations. May God bless him and grant him peace, and Lord honor his messenger. Under the auspice of the State Secretary in charge of sport, the regional directorate of the district include in Tejura region on Friday afternoon, the second edition of the championship between the districts, between the interior region of Tejura region. This is the area. This is a sports stadium that was before the championship activities started, and the officials participated in the launching activities stopped by the championship in Tejura region. A minute of silence was marked to the souls of the earthquake victims in Turkey and Syria, and the match whistle was blown by the Secretary of State in charge of Sport, Hassan Mohammed Kamel, and Defense Minister Hassan Umar. During the final match, the tournament of the two teams, where the match took place in a sporty and fraternal atmosphere. To conclude, the match results in a scores of 4-1 against 1 in favor of the Mabla team, who wherever the state in charge of sports witnessed this sporting event with the participation of a number of local authorities, including the district prefect, Mr. Hassan Dabili, and the head of Regional Council of Tejura Region, Umar Hussein, parliamentarians and officials from the state secretary in charge of sports, alongside many other personnel, were attend in this event. The prefect of Tejura region, Mr. Hassan Dabili, thanked all the supporters for organizing this event, the sport event that the region of Tejura is honored with sport, which is spare no effort in order to promote regional sport, in particular in national sport in general, he said. For his part, in his speech, the Secretary of State in charge of sport, Mr. Hassan, uh, he congratulated all the youth participating in this tournament for what they have changed effort to achieve this good result, especially those who excel in the match and they won the first time. It was last Wednesday, corresponding to the 15th of February. Ambassador Yassin Hussein Douali presented his letter of credential to the President of the Czech Republic, Mr. Milo Zeman, in his capacity as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Djibouti to the Czech Republic, with the resident in Berlin at the beginning of the event, which took place in the Prague Palace. The national anthem was played to the Republic of Djibouti and the Czech Republic, followed by the presentation of the letter of credential by the ambassador Yassin Hussein Douali to the president of Czech Republic, Mr. Milo Zeman. The Djiboutian diplomat conveyed to the President of Czech Republic the greeting of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margeli. At the same time, the Ambassador Yassin Hussein Douali pledged to the work on strengthening the development of the country, joining the cooperation and bilateral relation between Djibouti and Prague. For his part, the Czech Republic welcomed the Djiboutian diplomat and assured him of a support and necessary facilities to enable him to work and perform the duties entrusted to him during his work in Berlin. The World's Meteorological Organization will promote the digital transformation of national service ideological in Africa, and together in the cooperation with the Federal Republic of Ethiopia through the Ethiopian Institute, the meteorologists, global and regional experts in weather, climates, and water service in Africa, with the policy maker to promote the digital transformation of meteorological service water in the region. This in evidence by the participation of 54 directors general of the national meteorological agencies, air forces in Africa, but also more than 140 participants. The overall objective of the conference is to develop a strategy to strengthen the meteorological service in Africa through the appropriate service delivery, digital technologies, and also to provide warning service early for all African region. And now, in the regional international scene, the minister delegate to the Gabonese Minister of Foreign Affairs confirmed yesterday, Wednesday, that the donation that King Mohammed overview its delivery for benefit of farmers, Gabonese, consisting of 2,000 tons of fertilizer, will lighten their burdens, he said in a statement to the press after having over these donations that this important donation, which reflect once again the distinctions of the relation between the Kingdom of Morocco and the Republic of Gabon. And this case, the burdens in Gabon small farmers are grateful for that for this initiative. In the same context, they explained that Gabon also self-defense, the solidarity framework of the care of Kingdom of Morocco and Gabon, especially the current context of a global and also the implementation of a royal directive following the press measure, assure that the facilities and the access of a farmer in the broadly countries the quality fertilizer of the price adapted in this need and crops of the region. After Nigeria and billionaire satellite internet operators will settle in Rwanda with a promise to revolution and the education of a system to the areas uh, that the fibers of the ADSL network he will play said in a press conference that teacher as the schools in Rwanda capital. The internet plays an important role in improving education and especially for the schools like these ones concerned to a reliable internet one. This is it for this edition. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful evening.